Marcus Rashford was left out of Lee Carsley's England squad for the UEFA Nations League doubleheader with Ireland and Finland after a tough start to the club season. Former England winger Chris Waddle understands why Marcus Rashford was left out of Lee Carsley's England squad, suggesting the Manchester United forward needs to move clubs to revive his international career. Rashford was one of the high-profile absentees from England's Euro 2024 squad, along with Manchester City star Jack Grealish. However, while Grealish has earned a recall from interim boss Carsley for September's internationals, the United man has had no such luck. United Academy graduate Rashford enjoyed the best goal-scoring season of his career in 2022-23 as Erik TenHag's side finished third in the Premier League and won the EFL Cup. However, his form tailed off last season and he has yet to score in 3 outings this term. That was linked with a summer move only to stay at Old Trafford. However, Waddle believes the time has come for the 26-year-old to move out of his comfort zone. I can see why Lee Carsley has left Marcus Rashford out of the England squad. He doesn't do enough, Waddle told newbettingsites.uk. On his game, he's a terrific player. As we saw 2 years ago when he scored over 30 goals, he was on fire that season. That's what you want out of him. Since then, we haven't seen that. Last season, he didn't do it, and he hasn't so far this season either. I don't know whether it's a lack of desire or passion. It just feels as if he's not even on the pitch sometimes. He doesn't look like he cares. He hasn't been there over the last season and the start of this season. I think Manchester United should have sold him 2 years ago after that electric season. That was the right time. He needs to move away. He's been at United his entire life, and sometimes players just get comfortable. I think that's what it is. Erik ten Hag will be thinking, I know what this kid is capable of, but he just doesn't do it. Waddle's comments come after former United striker Dwight Yorke suggested Rashford looked unhappy at Old Trafford. You can bring in the best coaches around him, but he has to have that burning desire to get himself back, the treble winner told TalkSport. We know he has all the talent and all the ability, but if he is not prepared to put that effort in and really bring himself back from his poorest season last year, he is not going to get back to that level. He has to want to do it. I have defended Marcus many times, but he just seems unhappy. For whatever reason, I don't know, but just does not seem to be enjoying his football like he used to. Manchester United fans must be wondering why Casemiro wasn't sold this summer. The truth is, United were open to offers from the beginning to the end of the transfer window, but no concrete approaches were made for the ageing midfielder. A club source described Casemiro as a high-value player during the window, and his wage demands were partly the reason for him staying. There were no clubs willing to offer Casemiro a similar salary to his current contract, and not even Saudi Arabian sides were tempted. It was clear relatively early in the summer that United were preparing for the new season with Casemiro, although it seemed like asking for trouble not to sign a new midfielder. Thankfully, United landed Manuel Ugarte from Paris Saint-Germain, and the 23-year-old is expected to be the first choice at the base of the midfield, with Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes playing ahead of him. The prospect of regularly starting on the bench will not sit well with Casemiro, and being substituted at half-time for youngster Toby Collier against Liverpool might have represented the beginning of the end for him at Old Trafford. Contrary to claims on social media, Casemiro did not storm out of the stadium after his substitution, but an 11th hour exit from the club could be on the cards this month. Casemiro's wife uploaded a photo of his trophy cabinet on social media after the Liverpool debacle. However, the player who won that collection of trophies looks confined to the past. It was within United's best interest to move Casemiro on this summer, and although the opportunity didn't present itself, a late transfer to Turkey might be possible. Galatasaray are said to be considering a late swoop for him, and Turkey's window is open until September 13th, which could provide the Brazilian with an exit route from the heavy scrutiny at United. Oh, a human level. It must be difficult for Casemiro to watch his body let him down after years of operating at an elite level, and it can't be easy for his family to read the heavy criticism, but he is one of the highest earners at United, and that comes with expectation. Casemiro was determined to come back stronger in 2024-25, and that shouldn't be a surprise. He couldn't have achieved what he has without that mentality and a powerful self-belief, but it's often following the departures of Facundo Pellistri and Jadon Sancho over the summer. Manchester United's pool of wide options now has a much healthier look about itself. United went into the summer transfer window with 6 wingers on their books that each would have been knocking on Erik ten Hag's door in pursuit of regular game time. Despite the prospect of facing a more congested fixture list than ever before, it would have been impossible for the United manager to have kept Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, Pellistri, Sancho, Antony and Ahmad happy. It was a list that needed scaling back. By managing to offload Pellistri, who joined Panathinaikos, and Sancho, who sealed an 11th-hour switch to Chelsea on deadline day, United now have a manageable number of wingers at their disposal. It should be enough to see them through the season without too many problems. Rashford and Ahmad started each of United's opening 3 games, occupying the left and right wing slots respectively, before Garnacho made his first start of the season against Liverpool at Old Trafford last Sunday, coming into the team at Ahmad's expense. Antony, however, has not had so much as a look-in thus far, being restricted to just 1 minute of football. You have to go back to the 4-0 defeat to Crystal Palace on May 6th for the last time he started. Including pre-season friendlies, he has now been left out of TenHag's last 13 starting lineups. When you consider it was TenHag who championed for Antony's move to Old Trafford from Ajax throughout the 2022 summer transfer window, the former's decision to consistently overlook him in recent months suggests he is starting to accept he got it wrong. In 83 competitive appearances for United, Antony, who made 3 substitute appearances during the pre-season tour of the United States, has scored 11 goals and registered 5 assists. He tallied 11 of those 16 direct goal contributions in his maiden season at the club. The fact of the matter is simple. Antony has not performed well enough or consistently enough to warrant a place in the K1. Garnacho has developed at a rate of knots over the past 18 months, and Ahmad has finally been given the chance he deserved. Let's keep subscribed. Erik Ten Hag is judging it all on the trophies. Ever since Manchester United won the FA Cup in May, he has rarely wasted an opportunity to point to a record of 2 pieces of silverware in 2 seasons. He did it last week in the build-up to United's game with Liverpool, and he did it in the aftermath when it was probably the last thing supporters wanted to hear. So regularly has he pointed to this record that it might be worth putting such bold claims to one side for a while. In the last 2 years we won, behind City, the most trophies in English football, Ten Hag said on Friday. That is the reality. They are the facts. There is no disputing those facts, and it's clear that the Carabao Cup win in his first season and the FA Cup win in his second is proof enough for Ten Hag that he is on the right track. To him, those successes are stronger evidence of progress than a Premier League record of 16 defeats in 41 games and an 8th place finish last season. You won't be surprised to hear that is a contrast to his predecessor as permanent manager at Old Trafford. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't get his team over the line to win a trophy, but his 2 full seasons in charge at United produced league finishes of 3rd and 2nd. Sometimes the trophy can hide other things that are happening at the club. It's in the league positions that you see whether you're progressing, Solskjaer said in March 2021. It's not like a trophy will say that we're back. It's the gradual progression and the consistency of being top of the league, in and around there, and the odd trophies. Sometimes the cup competition can hide the fact you're still struggling a bit. Perhaps those comments aren't surprising from a manager who took United to 8 quarter-finals. Solskjaer's side lost 4 semi-finals and the Europa League final. No wonder he thought trophies weren't a true gauge of progress. But it's also true that Ten Hag will keep on pointing to his track record of trophy success to try and deflect criticism of United's dismal league form. He ended the club's 6-year trophy drought, and the FA Cup final win against Manchester City was an unforgettable day for supporters. The Premier League record of the 2 is instructive. Ten Hag has won 42 of his 79 league games, averaging 1.74 points per game. Solskjaer won 56 of his 109 games at an average of 1.80 points per game. Given the criticism that came the way of the Norwegian towards the end of his reign, it's pretty clear silverware is proving a useful barrier for Ten Hag right now. Reflecting in the glow of those 2 domestic cups will only suffice for so long, however. Ten Hag has talked grandly of United's ambitions and his plans for the club, but fundamentally Solskjaer is right. It is in the league where your progress will be judged. United have bolder aims than winning the odd domestic cup. They expect to be challenging for the title, and at a minimum, they want to be in the Champions League. Given the financial picture and the tightening of spending rules, they arguably need to be in the Champions League. Pointing to a couple of cup final victories isn't enough for Ten Hag. Those were wonderful days for the club, occasions that linger in the memories of supporters. But when United are back to getting ripped apart by more coherent and more tactically astute teams in the league, those days are essentially irrelevant. This isn't supposed to be a cup team. A £600 million spending spree across 3 summer windows should have produced a team worthy of getting in the top 4. for, not one that can only thrive in knockout football and one-off occasions. Solskjaer's bigger picture comments might be correct, but it's also true that his inability to get United over the line from some very promising positions in cup competitions reflected a feeling that he just wasn't quite of the level needed to take United forward. Conversely, Ten Hag's proven ability to win trophies doesn't guarantee him another season of underperformance. On Sunday, he claimed he was confident that United would have a big chance to lift another trophy. That's clearly a possibility, but unless he can produce a more consistent league campaign, it won't save him.